actually should have sacked. That's a quote by GSP, one of the greatest martial artists ever. And I was listening to an interview of his, and this really struck with me. This really stuck with me. Why do you say? Um, because this quote really resonates with me because I have always thought of what could have been instead of what is. I'm so focused on that I actually forget about the present and what is in my control. What has actually happened or what has happened, what happened in the past, that's out of my control. I can't touch it. I can't do anything about it. I can cry about it a million times, but the ground reality is that that's never changing. And that's something I think I need to learn how to make peace with. I've been blaming myself for a lot of things. Some of them I've talked about on this channel, some of them I've not talked about on this channel, some in my academic career, some in my personal life, and some in my journey to be a better person. Yeah. But the problem is, and this isn't just this isn't limited to me as a person either. This extends to people as well. There may be a time where people disappointed you, they did bad to you, or they hurt you in some kind of capacity, in some kind of way. But the thing is, ultimately, you can't control them and you can't change them. So why not just forgive them and forgive yourself? Yeah, you may have made some mistakes. Yeah, they have made some mistakes, but the thing is, it's all for first time living. And you might say that this is just bookish stuff, and in real life it's much more complicated. And yes, that's pretty true. Objectively, that's pretty true. But the thing is, what can you actually do about it? Because you have two options. The first is be miserable, just think about them all day. Don't let a moment pass without actively thinking about this revenge you are going to take, or this dramatic transformation you will make, or how they'll react, or how this will happen, or just or if it's something that you did yourself, or for example there was a test and you were supposed to study for it but you failed, and instead of just daydreaming about it or just thinking about an alternate reality where you did study and you did all of that, because that stuff I do. I'm not afraid to talk about it, and this stuff gives me a momentarily feeling of satisfaction, but in the long run it's very harmful for me because it it basically restricts me from taking action, and that's not something that we should be doing, because it's kind of like, I don't want to use the word, but it's kind of like a mental masturbation of some sort. It just relieves the feeling or the natural feeling of wanting to better your life with a temporary hit. Yeah, that's how I'm going to call it, hit. And I know that, you know, that line from Fight Club, self-improvement is masturbation. I think it kind of ties into that as well. I just try to tie them in, tie them together. Okay. Anyway, yeah. Another thing, if someone doesn't want to be in your life, just let them go. I know it sounds very complicated, sounds very hard to do. Trust me, it is. But the last year or so, I've lost the most people I've lost in my entire 20 years of existence. So I've lost a lot of friends. I have, I'm not as close to many people as I was supposed to be. That includes some family members, that includes some childhood friends, all of them. And some of it is my fault, obviously, but for some of them, there generally wasn't anything I could do. They just didn't want to be associated with me. And the thing is, don't try to stop them. Because if you're trying to stop them, you're not actually stopping them, you're just delaying their departure. It's like, you know, I don't know if you guys have done this, but when I was little, and because I'm an only child, what I used to do was that if I had any cousins over or if I had any relatives over, because I was a really lonely child, I used to, when they were leaving, I used to cry and beg them just that stay for a bit more. Let me play with your kids like for a longer time. And at my in my mind, this was an optimal solution. This felt like something that's good, but it wasn't actually doing anything. And even if they pitied me and just stopped for 30 minutes or an hour more, it's just delaying their departure. At the end of the day, or at the end of the meeting, I'm going to be alone by myself in my room. So, yeah, don't try to stop people. If you are at fault, note down those faults, work on them. If they are at fault, just let them go. Forgive them, because generally forgiveness is the ultimate option. And if you have some malice, like obviously I'm not saying that everyone can be forgiven. Some people are actually, there are actual monsters out there. But yeah, forgiveness doesn't mean that you forget what they did, or you forget whatever bad happened to you, right? But if you are constantly living in the past, you can't build a better future. And that's the crux of today's video. Stop living in the past. And believe me, you in the end you'll always be compensated. I don't know if you believe in um, this concept of that if you do good will happen to you, because it's quite flawed. A lot of people do good and then die alone, penniless in alleys. So you can say that, oh, that's a very flawed concept, and yeah, I agree. But I choose to believe in uh, stuff like this for the sake of my own sanity and for the sake of reducing my nihilism. Yeah, that's pretty much it for today's video. I'll try to post another video this week. My grades come out in like 12 hours or something, or a few hours. Wish me luck for those. And yeah, that's pretty much it. Bye. Subscribe, like, and subscribe. And yeah, comment your favorite parts. Comment about stuff you like, or stuff you didn't agree with, stuff you agreed with. I like comments.